All right, the clock is officially ticking. Exam season is just around the corner, and you can feel that pressure building, right? And here's the thing. You're not just prepping for one test. You're looking at five major ones. So how in the world do you conquer them all without completely burning out? Well, let's dive into a clear 6-month roadmap that's designed to do exactly that.
Okay, first things first, let's just be real about what's ahead. This is not a sprint. This is a 6-month marathon. We're talking about a whole series of high-stakes exams, and getting through this and winning, it requires way more than just hard work. It's all about having a smart, structured approach. So, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you possibly juggle your board exams, master a gigantic syllabus, and somehow hit your peak performance for 5 different entrance tests? It sounds totally impossible, I get it, but it's not. Let's break down exactly how you're going to do it.
So these are our targets. The big 5. IPMAT Indore, IPMAT Rohtak, JIPMAT, SET, and NPAT. Every single one of these is a gateway to an incredible institution. But, and this is a big but, they are not all the same. Our strategy has to be smart enough and flexible enough to take on all 5.
Look, before you can even think about building a winning plan, you have to understand the battlefield. The very first step, and this is completely non-negotiable, is to know these exams inside and out. Seriously. This knowledge is the foundation for your entire strategy. I know this sounds super basic, but please, trust me on this one, it is absolutely crucial. Just spend 2 or 3 hours right now really digging into the details of each exam. I'm talking about the sections, the question types, the timing, the marking schemes. If you do this now, I promise you, there will be 0 surprises on exam day.
Okay, let's zoom in here because the details matter a lot. For example, look at IPMAT Indore. It has a subjective quant section with no negative marking. That's not just a detail, that's a huge opportunity. Meanwhile, both Indore and Rohtak lock you into these 40-minute sections, which forces you to be super strict with your time. But then you have JIPMAT, which gives you one big 150-minute block where you are the time manager. See? Understanding these little differences is what's going to separate a good strategy from a truly great one.
All right, let's get into the plan itself. Phase 1. This is happening right now, December and January, and it's all about building a rock-solid foundation. Everything you do later on is going to rest on the work you put in over these next 2 months.
So here it is, the entire journey in one snapshot. We start by building that solid foundation. Then we head into what I like to call the practice gauntlet. This is where we turn what you know into what you can do. And finally, it's the final sprint, all about focused revision and mock tests. You see how each phase just builds perfectly on the last one?
Now, the timing here is absolutely strategic. You have to use the relative calm before your board exams to get your concepts crystal clear. If you wait until after, you're going to face a total nightmare scenario, trying to learn, practice, and revise everything in one frantic month. No. Build your foundation now, while you actually have the time.
And here's how you actually get the work done. You set a big long-term goal, sure, like finish a whole section in a month. But then, and this is key, you have to break it down. You create small, short-term targets. Something like, okay, I'm going to bundle these 3 chapters and knock them out in the next 4 days. This makes that huge goal feel manageable, and it lets you see right away if you're falling behind so you can adjust.
So, with that strong foundation of concepts in place, the next phase is all about one thing: practice. This is where you transform all that theoretical knowledge into real-world, under-pressure exam performance. This says it all, really. Your knowledge is just the raw material, right? But practice is the engine that turns it into actual results. I mean, knowing a formula is one thing, but applying it correctly in 60 seconds with a clock ticking down, that is a completely different skill. And that skill is built through relentless, targeted practice.
And your practice needs to have a structure. You start small, with topic-wise tests to make sure you've nailed individual concepts. Then you level up to module tests, which cover a whole group of related topics, like the entire arithmetic module. And finally, you take on full sectional tests to build that stamina and time management you need for the real deal.
Now listen up, because this is a crucial mindset shift for this phase. A low score on a practice test is not a failure. I'm going to say that again. It is not a failure. It's just data. Every test you take is like a diagnostic report, and it highlights exactly where you need to improve. Your job is to become a detective, find those weak spots, and fix them one by one.
All right, this is it.
The end game. Your board exams are done, and every single ounce of your focus now shifts to these entrance tests. This is the final, most critical sprint where all that hard work is going to pay off.
Let me be absolutely crystal clear about this, because this might be the most important point of all. There is no substitute for taking full-length mock tests. I don't care if you think you've mastered every topic. You absolutely, positively must simulate the real exam experience over and over and over again.
You see, taking a mock test isn't just a one-and-done thing. It's a cycle of improvement. You start with a strategy, you take the test, and then comes the most important part. You analyze. You dig deep. What went right? What went horribly wrong? Based on that analysis, you refine your strategy, and then you do it all over again. This cycle is the secret to perfecting your performance on exam day.
So as we put all of these pieces together, what's the winning strategy? It's a clear progression, right? You start by building that broad knowledge, then you sharpen it with focused practice, and finally, you master it with strategic execution when it really counts.
And that's maybe the most important thing to remember through all of this. Success in these exams isn't about some heroic one-night studying session. It is the direct result of a smart, structured process that you follow consistently, day in and day out. The real key to unlocking your potential isn't some flash of genius. It's consistency.
So there you have it. The roadmap is right here in front of you. You've got the timeline, you've got the phases, you've got the winning strategy. The only question left is the one you have to answer for yourself. What is the very first step you're going to take today to start this journey?